on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, all at the same time. And let's see, we had to stop our previous stream because the sound was not working when I was only sharing my screen. So hopefully you can all hear me now. I'm looking at the audio. Looks like the sound is good. Let me know. I guess if you can't hear me, you won't be able to let me know. So let me know if you can hear me. And I will just get right into it. So working on Catechism today. This is the Baptist Catechism, also known as Keach's Catechism. I'm working on question 51. So I have this document open in Affinity Publisher. It's the program that I'm using. And I have all of the pages laid out in this program, even with the section type. So I'm just going through and finishing up what I can here.
Instagram, Julian Bautista says we can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. Chris on Facebook says sound is good. Thank you.
Oh, good.
Awesome. And Clarence on YouTube says hello. Hello. Right back at you. All right, so working on question 51. What is required in the first commandment? First commandment requires us to know and acknowledge God to be the only true God and our God, and to worship and glorify Him accordingly. So, anything new? Oh, and some of you may remember that I was having a lot of difficulties with drawing lines on my iPad, on this tablet here. I would draw the line and it would like skip a big section as if I wasn't drawing, and then it would come back. So I'm hoping I did something today. I talked to the manufacturer and they said it was kind of a known issue. So I'm hoping the steps that they gave me worked. I haven't really been able to test it too much, but we'll see as I'm coloring this if I get any glitches.
And you're sponsoring a conference.
Right.
Also being held by Jeremy
Jeremy
Bolo is a speaker. I don't know who's holding it, I guess.
Held by Grace Community Church in Dawsonville, Georgia. So they're doing a in-person conference as well as a live streaming conference, and it is the live stream conference is completely free. And oh, I don't have that link. I'll get you the link that you can.
wisdomfromjames.com/reftunes.
Yep. So for sponsoring the event, we have a special link for you. It says it's /reftunes. There, those are in the comments. Should be on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So that's so you can sign up. It's completely free, and you'll have access to the videos for 7 days after the conference ends. And it's about it. So he's going through the book of James, talking about wisdom from James. And I have not even started coloring yet here. Here we go. Pilgrim's Progress brush set. Color. I like to do a kind of like a light blue on the bottom of these clouds.
Suryaya Vadinata says hello.
Hello. Oh, and we want to say hello to Brazil.
Yes.
Hello, Brazil. So usually when we go live at this time, so it's, I don't know, almost 10 o'clock here. I don't know what time it would be in Brazil, but around this time we usually get a lot of people from Brazil joining us.
We must be.
And some people from India.
An hour or two behind?
Maybe. Sorry, I bumped the iPad stand. Well, I hope everyone has had a wonderful Monday. I say that kind of with a sinister laugh because it's a Monday. And it felt like a Monday.
It did feel like a Monday.
Everything happened that should have happened on a Monday.
So we're done for the week. We're done with
Mondays. We're done.
Yes.
Everything's done with.
And yet,
I had to jumpstart our Prius
for the second time. And so last Monday it happened, and this Monday it happened. Because we didn't use our vehicle all weekend.
Yeah, we didn't realize that if you don't use those every day, the battery dies. 12-volt battery. Not the hybrid battery.
Yep. 3G Dad says today was definitely a Monday. God is good.
God is good.
That is a good reminder.
That is a good reminder.
And it really is. And you gotta have the bad days to make the good days feel so much better.
Right.
But
it's like law and gospel.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me why I need a savior before you tell me I need one.
Mm-hmm. SSI Whitlow says, this is white letters over white screen here. I couldn't read it really well. Do you enjoy the technology of drawing on a screen, or do you prefer pen and paper as an artist? Just curious.
That is a really good question, and I will tell you. I'll tell you in song.
Okay.
Just kidding.
So
if I had a choice, I would just draw on with paper and pencil and ink, and I would paint on canvases, and I would get really messy all the time. If I had a choice, and if I didn't have to pay for bills. But since I do freelance for a living, I do enjoy working on the tablet here. I enjoy working digitally because I can get it how I want it to look, and there's a lot of good shortcuts like the undo button, the redo button, the layers, all the different layers that I can have here. So there's a lot of good
The perfect circle.
for it. Yeah, I don't like perfect circles.
I know you don't. That's another song for another time.
Yes.
No,
so
but I do
I
I'll
like
touch
both.
on that though, just for a second. You don't like doing perfect squares and circles because then it looks too manufactured, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's why you don't use them. Was that a child?
I don't know. It could have been. I did hear something. Could have been the dog down the road that's always howling and sounding like a kid whining.
Okay, back to pencil and paper.
Pencil and paper. I like the tactileness of it. You can feel everything. You can smell it.
Shaved.
I could smell this, but
oh no,
it just smells like burning motors. But yeah, I like having the actual materials in my hands. Although I don't like having to erase. So
especially with a not good eraser.
Right.
He says, thanks for the response. Makes sense.
Thanks for the question. We're not going to do that. Thinking about doing it lighter on the bottom and then dark on the top, but I'm going to do this. Levi sent me a picture of some Lord of the Rings little statuette things. They're like really cartoony looking. Mm-hmm. They looked really cool. He said they're at the bookstore in the mall.
Like a McFarlane Toys thing?
Kind of like the Hanna-Barbera things, but they're actually more caricature.
Cartoony?
They look just like the actors, but they're cartoony versions of the actors.
Oh, weird.
They're really cool. They're made at Weta Workshop, which is basically did all the special effects for the films. Then I'll do this. Oops. Just on the yellow. I'm just gonna erase the yellow. Not all of it.
Sam John Art says hi.
Hi, Sam. What kind of art do you do? There's that.
Or what did you say?
Or is that a name?
Oh, like Arthur?
Arthur.
I would think that was the beginning or the middle and that's the end. Phoenix says, is that an iPad Pro?
No, this is a Cintiq, a Wacom Cintiq Pro 24. So it's a 24-inch screen that I'm working on here. So no, it's not an iPad.
Pretty big.
But we do have an iPad Pro, but that's what we're using to film the Instagram Live. So.
Oh, I'm missing some comments. We'll be back.
Where? That's from the other stream. It stayed on there.
Oh, okay. Alrighty.
My apologies to the YouTube and Twitter audience. All you see is my green screen. You don't get to see what's actually being displayed on the green screen because Restream does not have the ability to do green screening. Apart from, it's like pretty much the same as StreamYard, except
I need to iron that then.
it does different things.
It's terrible.
I know. Restream allows you to post live to multiple platforms. StreamYard does not. StreamYard allows you to have green screen. Restream does not.
What the fuck is someone about that?
So I'm using both so that I can stream to multiple places because I can't. Restream doesn't allow you to stream to your Facebook page, your public pages. StreamYard does, but they only let you stream to one location. So I use StreamYard for the Facebook RefTunes page. And I use Restream for Twitter and YouTube. Not that you needed all that information, but now you have it. Go and do likewise.
Phoenix says, awesome to see you use your talent to glorify God.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for losing. Reminds me of Eeyore.
Yeah. And plant seeds of the true gospel. That means adding.
Yes. That's important. To get the true gospel. Did the kids do okay in piano today?
Yeah. They asked this week. No, they always do pretty good.
That's good.
Last week was kind of the repeat of their summer assignments.
Oh.
Or going over their summer assignment and they're practicing a little more this week with something new. Bailey just finished a Christmas song.
I bet she likes that.
Yeah, well, yes. And McKenna was asking this morning for Christmas. Said, all right, that's my girl.
You started playing that the other day. Bailey was in here doing her school, and she heard it, and she goes, I didn't know that was on the iPad.
Oh.
Otherwise, she probably would have been listening to it. More often.
Like at bedtime?
Or more often, I don't know. She apparently likes Christmas music.
I think we all like it. Except for one person maybe in the family.
I like it.
Okay. There's just a time and place, right?
That's right.
Like December 24th and 25th.
When it starts getting after Halloween. I'm sorry, Reformation Day.
I've gotten you into the early Christmas spirit then.
Yes, you have.
All right.
You've turned me to the dark side.
Yep. That's what I'm here for.
Well, that Barlow Girl album, Christmas album, I could listen to all the time. That's pretty good. Good stuff.
Well, that's like our only Christmas album.
It is, but still.
No, I shouldn't say that.
It's excellent.
The kids have the GT and the Halo Express one.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
I love it. It's probably my favorite of anything. Recovery Reformation is posting fire pictures. Put the fire on.
Oh.
Maybe it just means you're hot, Paul. Just kidding. I can't even see you.
Maybe they're just supporting the riots.
We could interpret this so many ways.
Just saying. You know?
Have those kind of slowed down a little bit?
Depends on the day. Depends on what the news wants you to see.
Well, yeah, that's true. Oh, Recovery Reformation asks, is that a children's book?
Kind of.
It will be a family's book.
Family book. So I'm working on this Catechism. Question 51. What is required in the first commandment? What is forbidden in the first commandment? We have all of these ones as well. Whoa! So.
Oh, gotcha, he says. Yep. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, there will be at some point a compilation of these put into one book, and we'll have that up for sale at some point. But it's going to be when Paul has free time.
Yeah.
That we never know when that will be. Paul is a freelance illustrator, which means he is always on the lookout for jobs. Kind of.
Yeah.
And then sometimes he's very, very busy with them, and when he's not, he's very, very busy with Reftunes.
Yep.
So the more Reftunes you see...
It just means I don't have work.
Yeah. Oh.
Although I think I'm pretty good for the next few months on work.
Mm-hmm. So there are times when you'll be very busy, but a lot of your stuff you'll have to wait for responses, so you fill that time with...
Right. Yeah, by responses, I'm waiting to hear back from clients on what kinds of revisions they would like me to make. And while I'm waiting on those responses, I'm needing to switch over to other projects, whether it's freelance projects or Reftunes projects. So as I'm waiting on feedback, I'm just doing all kinds of other things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Recovery Reformation, I'm not sure their thing is complete. It says, so could you make so? I don't know, but then he says that's pretty cool. And then Jeremy Volo says, always wondered how you did your art. Cool to see.
Oh, hey Jeremy. Yeah, this is. It's mostly done digitally. Occasionally, I will do stuff on paper with pen and ink.
Which you prefer to do, but that's not.
It's more
usually what
fun,
your
but
job calls for.
yeah, it's a lot more efficient to do it digitally. So digitally, that is hard to say.
Okay, I don't know what this symbol is. Maybe raising the roof. Woot woot. I don't know.
Woot woot. Come on, Steph, aren't you to the lingo?
They never have been taught.
So, doing this this small line of white on the bottom of these just as kind of like a reflected light, refracted. It's like reflected or refracted. I'm not sure what the actual word is for it, but it's what I learned in school. But it kind of helps make it a little bit shinier, a little bit, helps it pop a little bit more. Gives it just that little extra dimension.
The rule of threes, right?
That's right.
3 clouds, 3 colors. Or not dimensions, what did I say? Oh, Recovery Reformation says, sorry, I accidentally said that too soon. Do you make tracts? There isn't much out there that directly for people in addiction and 12-step programs, which is mainly where I share the gospel.
Oh, yeah.
You have done?
Well, I've done an illustration for
a tract.
For the guys at Tract Planet, just for one of their things. But no, I haven't done any tracts with ref tunes. I mean, the closest I've come is the 4-page Spurgeon comic that I did from his All of Grace book, where it was talking about presenting your, talking about he was kind of arguing against having to touch yourself up and make yourself look all nice before going to God, like stopping sinning before you go to God. That he was speaking against that. Stephanie can read it for us, the whole thing.
So this is from Spurgeon's All of Grace, page 11, depending on the book that you have. I don't know, but in the beginning somewhere. So anyway, do not attempt to touch yourself up in yourself something other than you really are, but come as you are to him who justifies the ungodly. A great artist, some short time ago, had painted a part of the corporation of the city in which he lived, and he wanted, for historic purposes, to include in his picture certain characters well known in the town. A crossing sweeper, unkempt, ragged, filthy, was known to everybody, and there was a suitable place for him in the picture. The artist said to this ragged and rugged individual, I will pay you well if you will come down to my studio and let me take your likeness. He came round in the morning, but he was soon sent about his business, for he had washed his face, combed his hair, and donned a respectable suit of clothes. He was needed as a beggar, and was not invited in any other capacity. Even so, the gospel will receive you into its halls if you come as a sinner, but not else. Wait not for reformation, but come at once for salvation. God justifieth the ungodly, and that takes you up where you are now. Takes you up where you now are. It meets you in your worst estate. And that is the long version of the short comic that Paul did about that section that I just read, which was fantastic. And we were even talking about possibly doing that with the book, right?
creating a whole illustrated version of All of Grace.
But priorities, we have to finish the Catechism first. It's been so long.
Probably shouldn't have said that.
So many ideas, so many things you could do with such good works from people of the past. Just
Yeah.
so little time.
I know. I just don't want. I want younger generations to know who these guys are.
Right. Well, we grew up, we didn't know a thing. I don't think I knew who Spurgeon was until, 6 years ago. I might have heard the name floating around here and there, but
Right.
then you get into All of Grace or whatever. Just, good stuff. Oh, Recovery Reformation, that's good stuff. It sure is. And then he said, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Yep. That one, I'm so close to finishing the Mortification of Sin too. That's a good one.
Yes.
Boy. Recovery Reformation says, do you have a website? So are you guys moving the dark side of Westminster federalism? But I can post the website. We are at reftunes.com. Reftunes.com. Okay. There we go. And there's a store on there. I mean, there's a few things that Paul has on there. He's got the Reftunes collection. I'm going to overtake your screen here. He's got the Reftunes collection, which is a collection of the first 2 years of most of your comics.
Yeah,
there were a couple that
from the beginning through the end of 2019 is what is included in that one.
There's a calendar that he's been doing yearly.
Yep, each year we do a new one, and it's just
sorry.
It's just
pushing you out of the way there, Paul.
What is it? What was I going to say?
I don't know. But that's the kind of stuff you'll find on there. T-shirts, things like that. But
each month is just a different ref tune. That's all I was going to say.
Recovery Reformation says John Owen is my favorite. He was the one.
He is excellent.
No, I can't state this as a fact because I don't remember. But I'll say, was he the one with the desk that you could?
No, Jonathan Edwards.
Oh, Edwards. It was a John. Okay. So tell me about the desk.
Oh, it's just this special little desk that he had for writing. He'd probably have like 8 different books open at the same time that he would read.
But he would spin it to I don't know.
Like
look it up, Google it.
It's like maybe a 6-sided desk or an 8-sided desk or something like that.
Oh, yeah, Recovery Reformation. I'm a John.
What?
That's cool. The calendar, definitely gonna pick one up. Yep. That'd be awesome. Sapphire Stone says, what does the ref in Reftunes mean, by the way?
Well, it could mean a couple different things. So, it all started when I started getting into Reformed theology, but my thought for the ref in Reftunes was more of just like Reformation in general, or the Protestant Reformation, having to do with giving Scripture back to the people and not having it bound up by the church, or by the Roman Catholic Church. But so I think I would say it's more Reformation tunes rather than Reformed tunes, because I do have a variety of different people from church history, and not all of them are Reformed, although the majority of them are leaning towards the doctrines of grace.
Yep. So Recovery Reformation says, like kitchen table thing. What's it called? So I said, Lazy Susan is the kitchen thing, I think. And he said, yep, that's it.
Yeah.
And then he just goes, Reformed theology, bro. Okay, I'm going to check out the web. I'll catch up with you guys. Sounds good. Grace and peace. Yep, you too. And then, okay, nice. That's Sapphire Stones. What made you, I'm sorry, Joy X Cindy says, what made you start Ref Tunes?
What made me start Ref Tunes? Well, it started because I was kind of, my theology was kind of reforming, and I was learning so much new stuff about Scripture, about church history, that I felt like I couldn't just keep it all in, and I wanted a way to use my artwork to be able to glorify God. I wanted to glorify God some way in my artwork, and I felt like to share this wealth of knowledge, not that I have a wealth of knowledge, but like the stuff that I'm learning, well, I felt would be edifying to the body, and so that's kind of the basis of why I started it.
Yeah, and you hit cage stage for a little bit there.
Cage stage, if you don't know, cage stage is when it could be for anything, but for me it was with Reformed theology, Calvinism, if you will, and it's when you're so obsessed with something and you think everything. Once you learn something, you start thinking everything else is completely wrong, and you need to be put in a cage because you're dangerous to yourself and others.
Yeah, it's true. We hit a little bit of a rocky point there because I'm rather stubborn, and I think I've gotten better over the years, but it is a streak. It doesn't quite go away all the way. And when Paul started changing his theology and learning what he had been learning, it was so challenging to be married to someone who wasn't my husband anymore. Like, not just be married, but then like he started learning things, and I didn't have the time like he did. He could sit for 8 hours a day and during his work just listen to all these podcasts and all this stuff that he's growing and learning and whatever, and then he'd tell me, well, this is wrong and this is wrong, of things that I grew up understanding and knowing, and it's just like, don't tell me everything's wrong, like I don't get it, like I was totally not there. But then once he started asking questions, and I would recommend anybody to do this, just ask questions to get the other person to think before they say this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, because I felt like terrible, like really bad. But anyway, so it did get better. There's a happy ending to this story. I promise. But there was a point where Paul had asked me, so are you saying that the Bible isn't true? Like when it was talking about predestination of some sort, I think. And when he pointed me towards John, so like what does this say? What does this say to you then? And I'm just like, well, if I'm saying that the Bible is true, it has to be right. So that got me to thinking, like, what is this about? And there were some very, very gracious people at church, too, who walked me through things that I did not understand that were very new to me because I grew up in a... See, I don't even know, like, really all the lingo, but you'd say an Armenian church, right, Paul?
Yeah.
Like, or background.
Yep.
So, like, just Calvinism was a
no,
like, but nothing was ever explained. It was just kind of an untouchable, or whatever. And now, once those doors were opened, I will say, too, Vodi Balcom, I had listened to a sermon that he had preached. It must have been some years ago now. That was also kind of life-changing and turned the tide, I guess, for me, which was cool. It was very cool. Very helpful to have people explain things clearly and not just... I don't know, I think sometimes Christians can get into their cliche talk, kind of.
Right. Throwing out Christianese or
Yeah.
lingo.
And I didn't quite understand that, I guess. I don't know. But let me back up here. I'll read some more comments here. SSI Whitlow says, love the Octavian Winslow tune about the wasters of time.
Octavius.
Yes. Social media is so great. Of course, my comment is a bit ironic. Right. Sapphire Sons, is your church a Protestant non-denomination or specific branch of Protestant group? Don't answer that yet. I have another comment.
Okay.
I had the same situation happen with my husband and I was so upset with him at first, but I thank God we both ended up learning and growing. Yes, so that Joy says that. Okay. Before we go back to the what church do we go to, I just want to say that there were times when we had, when my oldest, he's going to be 11 on September 30th. But he was a baby, and I was just like, how are we going to raise this child? So even though I was growing up in a different sort of belief, kind of Arminian or whatever, I still, there was always something I felt like that I was missing. And I would pray that Paul would lead our family in the Word of God and in the Bible and teach us what we needed to know, because I felt like the churches that we had been at didn't really do a good job of kind of discipling and feeding those who are there, because it was very oriented on getting new people in. So like you have people who are committed to coming to church, but we want someone new. Like we want, I don't know, just kind of always kind of gave me that feel. And that was my own personal thing. I'm not saying that's for all churches. But once Paul started leading and studying and really shepherding his family, I didn't like it. No, what have I prayed for? And it was challenging. I mean, it put me in my place. But I tell you, I would not trade it for the world. God has done I would say amazing things in our family, and nothing is really like I couldn't like just pinpoint any one thing or whatever, but every day it's like you're pointed back to God's grace, to his, and sometimes to his law. And that's why just so many good things have come from it. But anyway, Carolina Kiko says, love to hear your story. God bless you and your work. But I'm getting a little twisted up here with all these things. What were we going back to? Oh, is your church a Protestant non-denomination or a specific branch of Protestant group?
It's part of the EFCA. So that's kind of a denomination, but it's like it's not really a denomination. It's more of an association of churches. Probably is what the A is in EFCA. No, Church of America. Never mind, don't listen to me. Because each church under that denomination is able to be autonomous or something like that.
Have kind of not have their own rules, but our church leans more Reformed.
Our church is Reformed. Other churches under the EFCA are Arminian. Others are more Baptist. Some are Presbyterian.
Yeah.
Some are very seeker sensitive. Others are not.
Right. But our church they're allowed to have their own. I don't know if you'd say rules or not, but we're just run very differently. Like there are no children's programs at our church, so our children stay in the service with us, which is very, very challenging, but it is such a blessing. It really is wonderful. I feel like we've had some very organic relationships because of that, because it kind of forces you. I need people, so it forces me to reach out and say, hey, do you want to get together or whatever? So I'll go to parks with people. Or, I mean, even intergenerationally, like my Bible study teacher is probably older than my mother, and I would consider her one of my best friends. She might not know that. I don't know. But I have such a deep appreciation for her. Like, I don't know. Just the relationships are very different at a church like that, but I absolutely love it. Recovery Reformation says pretty cool stuff on the website. Can I get one of your ref tunes tattooed? Yeah, people have gotten ref tunes tattooed.
Yeah, there's been a few people who have
show us your pictures.
Gotten that, yeah. Show us your pictures. Let's see. Actually, someone got one of the Catechism drawings tattooed.
That's right.
On themselves. I'll show you which one. This one right here. Someone got that one as a tattoo.
There was one that...
You should probably get this one as a tattoo.
Oh, dear. So, tattoos, Paul. You don't have any tattoos.
No, I've always wanted tattoos, but I've always been very picky.
Well, and fickle, like it seems
fickle.
Like
maybe I want this. I don't know if I want that. I wouldn't want that on me. I don't know if I'd want to change it. So I used to actually, in high school and middle school, I used to draw stuff all over my arms, my hands. My favorite place to draw is like right over here, because there was no hair to get in the way.
I don't even like to touch my wrists.
So like I would change up my tattoos.
So funny. That's a better thing for you than something.
So that's.
So would you ever get one of your own drawings tattooed, or is that the only thing you would get?
It's probably the only thing I would get. I don't know. I just think it would be fun to just design like a whole scene or a whole like design to go on an arm. I always thought that would be fun.
I don't do needles. Nope. Not my cup of tea. Recovery Reformation says pretty cool stuff on the website. Oh no, I'm sorry. I had to scroll back because I'm
deja vu.
Right?
We're in the Matrix.
Do you feel like RefTunes has helped you learn more since you need to create content? That's a question from Joy X Cindy.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Because when I'm reading someone, it's kind of pointing me over to other guys, and I'm just finding more about these people's biographies. And it's also helping me occasionally learn more from Scripture. Yeah.
Recovery Reformation says, I like the Lutheran Calvin Reformation high five. Right?
Yes.
That one's one of my favorites. As just a kind of simple image or whatever.
Yeah, I like that one.
SSI Witless says, probably intimidating for the tattooist to ink another artist. That would probably be. Would you be intimidated if you had to draw someone else's design?
No, if I had to ink someone who is an artist already. If it's a person
Oh, okay.
wanting the tattoo was an artist and I was tattooing them, that would be intimidating. And that's what I also think about too, is like, I wonder which tattoo place has the better artists. Because I've seen some really bad tattoos. And some really amazing ones as well. Let me get some color on these. Actually, maybe I'll do this one first.
Oh, so here's a question, and I take this two ways. Joy asks, did both of you grow in church? Now I'm going to take that as, did we grow up in church? We'll answer that first. Did we grow in church? We'll tell you which ones. No. No, we won't. But yes, both of us grew up in church. We were born and raised churchgoers in Christian families. And I really believe that we were believers. I just think that we weren't taught the entirety, maybe, of...
There wasn't much depth to what we learned.
Right, so once
learned the basics, and then we just continued to be fed milk.
Thank you. That's well said. So, and I think even when we were drinking milk, I don't know. I mean, God uses even those times when we were only drinking milk. I mean, now we can look back and see that and know how we want to raise our kids, or better resources that we can use for our kids. I mean, even the time that we did spend in a place that maybe wasn't as helpful as where we're at now was very helpful. We can use all those experiences for learning from and growing from and talking about. So grow up is what she meant. So yes. Yes, we grew up in church. I could have left it short. But SSI Whitlow says, don't want to have to give tips on drawing to the tattoo artist. That's funny.
I would just wear a blindfold if I was the artist getting tattooed. Actually, no, I wouldn't. I would want to make sure that they were doing a good job. So...
Oh, dude, these questions keep getting harder and, like,
oh no,
staying good.
Quick, shut it off.
Sapphire Stone says, if you both can go back to your younger self, what advice would you give yourself about a one specific topic? So, like God, art, drawing, marriage, finances.
I would talk about the sovereignty of God.
Yes, that's kind of where my thoughts were going, but you said it. I wouldn't need to know anything. Well, I wouldn't need to know anything about art or drawing. I do that. Marriage, finances. I think when you understand the sovereignty of God, and not that it's to be fully understood even, I mean, there are things that don't make sense to us from the Bible, whether it's the sovereignty of God or not, or us. Maybe it all makes sense to you, but when you understand that God is sovereign, that takes care of marriage, drawing, art, finances, you know?
Thanks, Jonathan. Jonathan Romero says, Genesis 1:1, God's sovereign.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is not something that we were really
not
raised.
Really. It was a lot of speculation, a lot of just
See, I shouldn't... Oh, let me just back up just a little bit. I can't say that I wasn't raised like that, because my parents did a very good job with us. Like, we always...
We're talking specifically about church.
We were taught to be Berean, ask questions, get in the Word, know for yourself. But if you weren't taught how to... Well, not that we weren't even taught... I just think God didn't get a hold of me until I was like 30. Maybe, is how I could put it. Because there are times when you're just like, I didn't hear that. And then someone would say, that's what we were teaching you this whole time. But God just didn't open my eyes until that certain point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I couldn't just blame it on...
That.
There's nothing to blame it on, but my dead self.
Right, yeah.
And being awakened to...
My whole thing was just... Felt like it was everything was up to me.
Yeah.
Evangelism, saving someone's soul, it's up to me. up to me to save souls. No, not really. God saves
Right.
souls. We just need to speak truth of the gospel.
That's so true.
And if they reject it, we did our part.
Right.
There's no convincing someone into heaven. It's the work of the Spirit. God's complete sovereignty over salvation. And that's something that I never grasped until a lot later in life.
Well, this is something I just started reading this week for our leadership class. And in Colossians 2:13 it says, "And you who were dead in your trespasses and the uncircumcision of your flesh, God made alive together with him, having forgiven us all our trespasses by canceling the record of debt that stood against us with its legal demands. This he set aside, nailing it to the cross. He disarmed the rulers and authorities and put them to open shame by triumphing over them in him." And how wonderful, like, we who were dead in our trespasses and the uncircumcision of our flesh, God made alive. I can't make it alive. I'm dead. Like, that's, you think you made a post this morning on
Yeah, I used that
Facebook.
verse.
Yeah. Just, we can't, yeah, it's God's to change the heart.
I took an old tune and put that verse to it.
And how many others? I mean, it's a running theme throughout the Bible. That God does as God wills. I mean, go into whatever.
Romans 9, everyone's cage stage verse, or book, chapter.
Yeah. Or you've got, even I think what struck me when I first started kind of learning about, well, I guess God's sovereignty, was Ezekiel 37 when it was talking about God making the dry bones come to life. And it's like, what? I mean, okay, so this sounds so silly, not like, what? Only God can do that? Well, yeah, only God can do that. And I think when I thought, well, yeah, it's up to God, I was like,
oh.
How have I been so dense for so long? Like, and I don't know, it just clicked. Praise the Lord. And not everything clicks, but that sure did. Christian Leslie says hello. We say hello back.
Hello, sorry, I was concentrating. Figured out what else I have left to do here. Man, I am feeling kind of exhausted from this Monday.
And good night. I've enjoyed it. Blessings. That's SSI with love.
Good night.
Thank you for joining.
We should probably mention again about the conference that we're sponsoring. The link is in the comments. We're sponsoring the conference, and it's the speaker is Jeremy Volo. He's going to be going through the book of James and digging into the wisdom of James. So looking forward to it. Should be a good time.
wisdomfromjames.com/reptunes, right?
Yes. And we are it's a completely free live stream conference that you can sign up for through that link. Jonathan has a question. Do you have prior sketches before making a final piece, or do you work as you go, as it comes to you on the spot? Now, I have prior sketches, actually, and I can show you some of those. Just one moment here. Let me get this colored there. So, like for this one, I start out with a sketch. So here's my sketch for this one. Actually, it's not usually that faint. There we go. That's the sketch for this one. Then what I do is I will turn the opacity down so that it's a little bit more transparent and lighter, so that I can do the inks over top of it. And actually, I moved those. So the inks go over top of it. And then what I'm doing right now is I'm laying in some flat colors, and then over top of the flat colors I will do the shading that'll end up looking like this. So yeah, all of them start out with sketches. Some sketches are easier to come up with than others. Like here's some that still have just the rough idea sketches that I haven't really turned into anything yet. Let's see, does this one have... Oh, I don't have my sketch layer in this one. Some of these I didn't keep my sketch layer in, so.
So, wait, can I move on to the next?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just looking for one that might have another sketch layer in it. No, looks like I got rid of all my sketch layers when I imported them into here.
Severus Town says, out of all the drama and crazy stories of Genesis, which one is your favorite?
Genesis?
Genesis. I will,
My favorite is the part where God promises Adam and Eve that he'll send Christ.
that's what I was gonna say. I was debating on Joseph's whole thing, but no, because I was looking for it here with the crushing of the snake.
Yep.
And yes, me too, because I think that's the first time I realized that the Old Testament points to Jesus.
DWKC on Twitter is asking, is this the Westminster Catechism? Actually, he just says WSC? Question mark. No, I'm sorry. This is the Baptist Catechism, Keach's Catechism. So basically, it's the Westminster Catechism on steroids.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No, this is the Baptist Catechism. And since it does have a lot of the same questions as the Westminster, I was planning on making it, or doing the Westminster Catechism as well with a lot of the same illustrations, but some of the illustrations obviously would be different. And let me find where I was. There it is. So yeah, the Baptist Catechism just basically took the Westminster Catechism, changed a few things, and then changed the name.
Thanks.
Yep. And the only reason I started with this one, I probably should have started with the Westminster. The only reason I started with the Baptist Catechism, well, one, it's kind of the one that I agree mostly with theologically. And number two, I was just reading about Benjamin Keach at the time and decided it might be fun to put some illustrations to this catechism. And so I just started, and then I just didn't stop. That's what happens when I get ideas.
Sapphire says Adam and Eve promise is definitely an amazing part of Genesis. The Joseph part always makes my eyes sweat, though.
Joseph.
Cry, probably.
Oh. That's funny. Chili peppers usually make my eyes sweat.
No, onions do it for me. Chili peppers.
That jardinera that I got.
Oh.
Spicy stuff. Oh, wow. That was quite warm. Oops. Oh.
So how many will you have finished tonight?
Just 2. If I finish, it's already 11. I may just put the flat thing on this one.
Yeah, that an early morning.
Yeah.
So that might be good just to call it an evening here.
Yep,
soon.
then I'll have this one ready to go for next time. All right, so that is. I'm going to stop for tonight. Let's look at what we have finished so far. So, I've.
You can be dizzy.
Yeah, sorry. Most of the first part, well, section 1 is complete, section 2 is complete, section 3, 4, 5. Actually, that one is complete, so section 5 is complete as well.
We'll have to find. Can you find that before we call it a night? I mean, we
So I
can
have
stop this and then keep
5 sections are complete. I just need to put that guy back in there. So, thank you everyone for tuning in, for ref tuning in, as Donovan would say. You can check out more RefTunes at reftunes.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Parler.
And don't forget to sign up for the conference.
Yeah, don't forget to sign up for that free conference. The link is in the comments.
wisdomfromjames.com/reftunes.
Yep, all about wisdom from the book of James. So thanks again for watching, and we will see you next time.